They wanted to cut your neck while you weren't looking, but before they did, a whisper echoed through the shadows of their intentions. You didn't see it, but they were already making their move. Every step, every thought darkened by the hatred they buried deep within. They thought they had you cornered, that they could strike when you were vulnerable. They believed that you wouldn't see it coming, that you were just another target in their ruthless world. They underestimated you, though. They couldn't possibly fathom the force they were dealing with when they chose to make you their enemy. You see, when they plotted your downfall, they didn't just ignite the fuse of their own destruction. They invited karma itself to their doorstep. What they didn't realize was that while they were sharpening their knives in secret, karma was sharpening its own blade. And as they prepared to strike, what they didn't know was that the price they would pay for trying to destroy you would be more than they could ever imagine. They thought they were clever, thinking they could play in the dark, manipulating, scheming, lying, and watching you stumble, believing you were too weak, too naive to ever rise above their malice. But they failed to recognize one simple truth, the one truth that would haunt them to their core. You're not weak, not fragile, not some easily broken creature that will fall at the first sign of danger. You are a storm, a force of nature, a survivor who can turn the tide when everyone else has long given up. They underestimated your resilience, your willpower, your strength. And that mistake, that tiny fraction of arrogance, is what sealed their fate. They didn't realize that every action they took against you would have consequences that would reverberate through the very core of their existence. And now, they will face it. The price for their treachery. The price for trying to destroy you. They believed that they could get away with it, that they would be untouchable, that they could ruin your life and walk away without a second thought. But karma doesn't forget, it doesn't rest, and it certainly doesn't forgive. They tried to bury you, to crush you beneath their lies, their manipulation, their cruelty, but they failed to account for one thing. The truth always comes to light, and when it does, it comes with the fury of 1,000 storms. They thought their plans were flawless, their schemes airtight, but they didn't realize that every time they plotted against you, they were weaving the very rope that would hang them. Every whisper, every rumor, every deceitful action only served to tighten the noose around their necks. And now, they are left choking on the weight of their own malice. Their actions weren't just an attack on you. They were a declaration of war against the universe itself. They were telling the world that they could act with impunity, that they could destroy anyone they saw as weak, anyone they thought wouldn't fight back. But what they didn't understand is that the universe has a way of correcting itself. It has a way of ensuring that balance is restored, even when people think they can escape the consequences of their actions. You were the catalyst, the spark that would ignite their downfall, whether they realized it or not. They picked the wrong person to target, the wrong soul to break, and now they will pay the price. They thought they could break you, that they could push you down and watch you crumble. But in doing so, they only pushed you into the fire. And in that fire, you were forged into something they could never comprehend. They saw weakness, but they were blind to the strength that resided within you. They thought they were controlling the narrative, that they could write your story in blood and despair. But what they didn't know was that you were always the author of your own fate. They didn't realize that you were the storm they had been praying to avoid. Now, they will feel the full wrath of their actions. The damage they caused to you is not something they can undo. The pain they inflicted on your life is not something they can erase. What they've done is etched in stone, and they will never be able to escape the consequences. Karma will find them, hunt them down, and deliver the judgment that has been long overdue. They wanted to crush your spirit, to take away everything you held dear, to break you down into nothing. But what they didn't see was the fire that burned inside of you. They underestimated how deeply that fire would burn, how fiercely it would rage against their cruelty. They didn't know that you were already preparing for the fight of your life. They thought they could take everything from you, but they didn't realize that when they took from you, they were only feeding your hunger for vengeance. You didn't crumble beneath their weight. You didn't bend. Instead, you stood tall. You fought back, and you began to rise. They ignited a war they weren't prepared for, and now they will feel the weight of their own destruction. As they tried to destroy you, they didn't see the truth. They were already being destroyed from the inside. Their minds, poisoned by their own hatred, were unraveling. Their actions, driven by their desire to see you fall, were slowly tearing them apart. They thought they were playing a game, but what they didn't realize was that they were caught in a web of their own making. They are the ones who are trapped now, ensnared by their own wickedness, unable to escape. Every lie they told, every betrayal they committed, every act of malice they unleashed against you is now a chain that binds them to their fate. The universe doesn't forget, and karma doesn't show mercy. They will be dragged down by the very forces they unleashed upon you, and there will be no escape for them. And now, the price has come due. The world doesn't owe them anything, and it certainly doesn't owe them forgiveness. They will feel the weight of their sins pressing down on them, the guilt and the regret consuming them from the inside out. They will watch as their own actions come back to haunt them, as the very things they did to you are turned against them in ways they could never have imagined. The same darkness they tried to bring into your life will now consume them. The same treachery they attempted to sow will now be their harvest. Karma has been patiently waiting for this moment, and now it is here. They will reap what they have sown, and the consequences will be devastating. You may have felt the sting of their betrayal, the weight of their hatred, but you are still here, still standing, and stronger than ever. You are the embodiment of resilience, of perseverance, of strength. They thought they could destroy you, but they only forged a warrior in the fire of their cruelty, and now they will pay for underestimating you. They will pay for thinking that they could play with your life, that they could manipulate your destiny, that they could break your spirit. They didn't realize that you are the very thing they fear. You are the reckoning, the force of nature that they never saw coming. As they face the consequences of their actions, as they watch their lives crumble, they will finally understand the price of trying to destroy you. The universe has a way of balancing the scales, of righting the wrongs, and it will come for them with a vengeance. No one can escape karma. It doesn't matter how far they run, how deep they hide, or how much they try to bury the truth. They will be found, and they will be made to pay. The lies they told will unravel. The secrets they kept will be exposed, and the darkness they tried to unleash will consume them. They thought they could cut you down, but they have only sealed their own fate. In the end, they will realize the truth. They will understand that you were never the victim in this story. You were always the hero, the one who would rise from the ashes, the one who would be stronger for having endured their attacks. They are the ones who will fall. They are the ones who will crumble under the weight of their own actions. And as they do, you will stand tall, unbroken, and triumphant. You will be the one to remind them that they cannot escape their own karma, that no one can run from the consequences of their choices. You are the reckoning they feared, the storm that will drown them in their own sins. And now, they will face the heavy price for trying to destroy you. They thought they could cut you down, break you into pieces, leave you a mere shadow of your former self. But in doing so, they forgot one critical thing. They didn't reckon with the forces that live within you, the strength that they could not see, the fire that they thought they could extinguish. When they tried to destroy you, they only unleashed something far more powerful than they could have ever anticipated. They awoke a beast, a force that will hunt them down, drag them through the fire of their own making, and leave them hollowed out in the end. They may have imagined that they could walk away untouched, that they could strike without consequence, but every action, every cruelty they visited upon you, planted the seeds of their own destruction. Karma doesn't spare anyone, no matter how powerful, no matter how invisible they think they are. It doesn't care if they wear a mask of innocence or hide behind the guise of righteousness. The moment they chose to destroy you, they signed their own death warrant. And now, there is no escape from the reckoning they have brought upon themselves. Their world is collapsing, and they will watch in horror as the things they thought were certain, their power, their control, their very sense of self, fall away, piece by piece, until there is nothing left but the stark reality of their choices. They built their empire of lies, manipulating, deceiving, and taking from others, believing they could escape the consequences, that they could break you without ever facing the repercussions. They thought they could play the game without ever being caught in the trap they set for others. But the universe works in ways that no one can predict. It's a force that doesn't operate on the rules of man, the rules of ambition, or the rules of power. It doesn't care about status or reputation. It doesn't care about the glittering facade people like them put up to shield themselves from the consequences of their actions. Karma doesn't look at their title, their wealth, their influence. It only sees the truth of their deeds, the truth of their heart, the truth of their intentions. They wanted to make you suffer. They wanted to see you crumble beneath the weight of their malice. They wanted to erase you from existence, to steal your light, to shatter your confidence, to make you feel so small, so insignificant that you would never rise again. But what they didn't understand is that when they tried to break you, they only gave you the power to grow. They thought they could isolate you, force you into a corner. But what they didn't see was that you were never meant to be confined. You were always destined to break free from their chains, to rise from the ashes they created, to become stronger than they could ever imagine. Their actions weren't just an assault on your life. They were an insult to the very fabric of existence. They tried to take something precious from you, your dignity, your peace, your future, and they thought they could do it with impunity. But now, they will be forced to face the consequences of what they've done. The damage they inflicted upon you wasn't just physical or emotional. It was spiritual. It was an attempt to erase your very essence, to destroy the core of who you are. But they didn't count on the resilience of that essence, the purity of your spirit that could not be so easily shattered. And now, they are paying for that miscalculation. They thought they could control the narrative, that they could dictate the terms of your life, but the universe has a way of taking control when people like them try to play God. Karma moves in mysterious ways, ways that are not always clear in the moment. It may seem like nothing is happening, like the pain and suffering they caused, you're going unpunished, but all the while, the universe is silently setting the stage for their fall. Every lie they told, every betrayal they committed, every soul they harmed in their quest to destroy you is like a stone thrown into a river. At first, it seems small, insignificant, but over time, those ripples spread out, growing larger, more powerful, until they return to the source with a force that cannot be ignored. What they don't understand is that they are the source of their own undoing. They are the ones who have created their own downfall, and now they will drown in the consequences of their actions. They may try to run, to hide, to bury their guilt under layers of denial, but it won't work. Karma is relentless. It doesn't give up. It doesn't back down. It doesn't care about their excuses or their justifications. They will try to rationalize their actions, to tell themselves that they did nothing wrong, that they were justified in trying to destroy you. But deep down, they know the truth. They know the pain they caused, the destruction they left in their wake, and no matter how hard they try to block it out, it will eat away at them until there is nothing left but the hollow remnants of the person they once were. The price they will pay is not just one of loss, it is a price of soul-crushing consequence. They will lose everything they held dear: their power, their control, their wealth, their reputation. All of it will slip through their fingers like sand, and they will be left with nothing. They thought they could destroy you by taking away everything you loved, by shattering your world into a million pieces. But in doing so, they revealed their own weaknesses. They exposed the fact that they were never as strong as they believed. They were weak, insecure, and ultimately afraid. And now, they will pay for that weakness in ways they cannot even fathom. As they watch their empire crumble, as they feel the walls close in around them, they will be forced to confront the reality of what they've done. The people they used, the lives they ruined, the trust they shattered, all of it will come back to them in the form of an unrelenting storm. The very things they did to you will be done to them, but with a vengeance they never expected. They will feel the weight of their actions bearing down on them, and there will be no escape. No amount of wealth, no amount of influence, no amount of power can shield them from the fallout of their choices. The damage they caused cannot be undone. The harm they inflicted cannot be erased. And as they stand at the precipice of their own downfall, they will realize too late that they were never the ones in control. They were always playing a losing game, and now the game has caught up with them. They thought they could destroy you, but instead, they created a force that would haunt them for the rest of their days. They thought they could break you, but in doing so, they only made you stronger. They thought they could erase you, but they only fueled your rise. And now, as they watch their world fall apart, they will know that they are the architects of their own misery. They are the ones who built the prison they now inhabit, and there will be no one to blame but themselves. The price they will pay is not just one of material loss, it is a spiritual price, a price of the soul. The darkness they tried to cast upon you will now consume them, burning through their heart and mind, leaving nothing but a hollow shell of the person they once were. They will be forced to live with the weight of their actions, to confront the truth of who they are and what they've done. And in the end, they will know that they are not the victors in this story. They are the fallen, the ones who lost everything in their attempt to destroy you. You will stand tall as they crumble. You will rise from the ashes they tried to bury you in, stronger, wiser, more powerful than they ever imagined. They tried to break you, but they only made you unbreakable. And now, they will face the heavy price for trying to destroy you. They didn't understand the nature of the battle they were starting. They thought you were a fragile thing, something they could manipulate, something they could bend to their will with ease. They assumed your heart was soft and malleable, an easy target for their cruelty. They assumed that you would wither beneath the weight of their hatred, that you would shrink in the face of their attacks and fade quietly into the background, a victim of their twisted schemes. They thought that they could break you down piece by piece, disassembling the very essence of who you are, until there was nothing left but a hollow shell. But they were gravely mistaken. You are not the victim they hoped for. You are not the one who crumbles at the first sign of danger. No, you are the one who stands tall, unwavering, even when the world presses against you with all its might. You are the storm that rises when they thought they could douse your fire. You are the unshakable foundation that stands firm, even in the most violent of earthquakes. They couldn't see it then, but the strength they tried to crush with their malice only grew deeper, more rooted. With every attempt they made to break you, they only forged you into something stronger, something more resilient, something they could never hope to defeat. They didn't realize it, but they were feeding your power. They were adding fuel to your fire. With every word of spite, with every act of cruelty, they pushed you closer to greatness. They tried to break you, but what they didn't know was that you were already unbreakable. You were always unbreakable. It wasn't their attempts to destroy you that made you strong. It was your own heart, your own soul, your unyielding will to survive and rise above everything they threw at you. And now, as they stand at the precipice of their own destruction, they will come to understand just how wrong they were, just how deep their error ran. They thought they could destroy you, but in their blind arrogance, they made you invincible. Their actions weren't just the product of malice or hatred. They were the result of fear. Fear of your strength, fear of your power, fear of your potential. They feared what you could become. They feared that one day you would rise and become something far greater than they could ever imagine. And so, in their desperation, they tried to crush that potential before it had a chance to flourish. They tried to silence your voice, extinguish your light, and keep you small and weak so that they could maintain control. They thought they could confine you to a cage of their making, a cage that would keep you from realizing who you truly are. But cages can never hold the spirit of a warrior, and you, my friend, are a warrior. They couldn't see it, but you were always meant for greatness. You were always destined to break free from their control, to shatter the boundaries they tried to impose on you, and to rise to unimaginable heights. They couldn't see it then, but the more they tried to break you, the more they tried to trap you in their lies, the stronger you became. And now, their reckoning has come. They thought they could escape the consequences of their actions, but the universe has a way of ensuring that every wrong is righted, that every injustice is paid for in the end. What they didn't understand, what they failed to recognize, is that no one escapes the consequences of their choices. They may have thought that their power, their wealth, their influence could shield them from the inevitable backlash, but nothing can protect them from the wrath of karma. Karma has no mercy. Karma does not care how rich or powerful someone is. It doesn't care about status or prestige. It only cares about one thing: balance. And they tipped the scales, tipping them so far into darkness that they could never hope to bring them back. Now, they will watch as their world unravels. They will watch as their own actions come crashing down around them, tearing apart everything they thought was unshakable. The empire they built on lies, deceit, and manipulation will crumble. The lies they told will surface. The betrayals they committed will be revealed for all to see. The people they used, the lives they destroyed, the souls they crushed will come back to haunt them. Every soul they harmed will rise, demanding justice. Every lie they told will expose the ugly truth. Every broken trust will come back to them tenfold. The very darkness they tried to unleash upon you will consume them, and they will be powerless to stop it. They may try to run, to hide, to escape the consequences of their actions. They will try to bury the guilt they can no longer ignore. But karma will hunt them down. Karma doesn't rest. It doesn't grow tired or weary. It doesn't forget. It is relentless, and it always finds its way to the source. And now, they are the source. Their every move, their every betrayal, every malicious thought they ever had will return to them in ways they could never have imagined. They will begin to feel the pressure mounting. The weight of their sins, their lies, their cruelty will grow heavier with every passing day. It will consume their thoughts, gnaw at their soul, and destroy their peace. They will begin to lose everything that once gave them comfort: their wealth, their power, their control, their reputation, until they are left with nothing but the cold, bitter reality of who they truly are. They will feel the consequences of their actions in every aspect of their lives. No corner will remain untouched. No place will remain safe. They will see the faces of those they have wronged in their nightmares. They will hear the voices of those they betrayed in their waking hours. The consequences of their actions will haunt them until there is nothing left but regret. But even worse for them is the inner torment, the knowledge that they were the ones who caused their own undoing. They will come to realize that their obsession with destroying you was never about you at all. It was about them, about their own insecurities, their own fears, their own lack of self-worth. They saw in you something they couldn't bear to confront in themselves, and so they tried to destroy it. But now, they will have to confront that very thing. They will have to face the truth of who they are, and they will see the ugly reflection of their own soul. The facade they worked so hard to build will crumble, and they will be left standing naked in front of themselves. It will be a reckoning like no other. They will see the full extent of their actions, and they will know, deep down, that there is no escaping the price they must pay. They will know that everything they once held dear is slipping away, and there is nothing they can do to stop it. They will come to understand the cost of trying to destroy you. They will see that in their efforts to break you, they have only made themselves weak. They have given up their integrity, their honor, and their peace in pursuit of a fleeting illusion of power. And when it is all over, when the storm has passed and the dust has settled, you will stand tall. You will be unbroken. You will be stronger than you ever were before. You will have risen from the ashes they tried to bury you in, forged in the fires of their hatred and cruelty, and made into something greater than they could ever comprehend. And they will be left to watch as their world crumbles around them, knowing that they did this to themselves. They will know that they, and no one else, are the authors of their own destruction. The price they will pay is one they cannot escape. It is the price of their own choosing. And in the end, they will know that they were never the ones in control. They were never the ones who held the power. They were simply pawns in a game they didn't understand. And now, they will pay the ultimate price for their foolishness. They tried to break you, but they only made you unbreakable. And now, they will face the heavy price for trying to destroy you.